Huge crowds in Folsom to see Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders and New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio Cortez. Nearly 30,000 people went to Folsom Lake College for the stop on their tour called Fighting Oligarchy. The two lawmakers have been criticizing the Trump administration and Elon Musk. They're visiting areas represented by Republican members of Congress.
Kevin Kiley knows that this is not what you want. He knows that it is deeply unpopular. He knows that it hurts the people of Folsom. But he is not there to serve working families. He is there to serve himself and the billionaire class that put him there.
When we stand together and not let Trump and his friends divide us up by the color of our skin, or where we were born, or our sexual orientation, or our religion. When we stand together, there is nothing we cannot accomplish.
The line to get into the event stretched for miles. Some waited for hours to get in.
We got up here about 4 o'clock, and my sister did the right thing and walked to the end of the line, and she's still hasn't made it back.
I feel really powerless, and being in a group of people, like-minded people, makes all the difference.
Those who weren't able to get into the event filled an overflow area in the school's parking lot.
California is now the first state to stop the Trump administration from imposing sweeping tariffs that have set off a global trade war. Governor Gavin Newsom and Attorney General Rob Bonta announced a lawsuit this morning. The governor says the tariffs have resulted in inflated costs and billions of dollars in damage in California.
Consider just the imports coming from Mexico, Canada, and China. 44% of all of the imports into the state of California alone come from just those three countries, $197.3 billion in 2023. The impacts of these tariffs, particularly on those three countries, disproportionately impact the state of California. Across the spectrum, the impacts are off the charts.
The suit also argues that enacting tariffs requires approval from Congress. KTVU's Ali Rasmus has more on what's behind the state of California's action.
At the Port of Oakland, where earlier this morning there was a long line of trucks waiting to enter the port to pick up the goods they're assigned to transport. But as you heard the governor mention, there are fears that this kind of activity could disappear. The governor says that the president's escalating trade war and tariffs are destructive to the California economy, and industries here from agriculture and farming to shipping are expected to see declines because of the president's across-the-board 10% tariffs on most nations, as well as even higher tariffs on China, amounting to anywhere from 125 to 245%, according to the president's latest executive order. Now, the governor's lawsuit against the Trump administration argues that the president does not have the authority to enact these tariffs, and that the temporary emergency powers Congress gave him to do so should not apply here. Legal experts say California could make that argument based on the fact that the president has given a myriad of reasons for enacting the tariffs that seem to change, going up, down, or pausing every day.
You could argue in each case that his shifting rationales, plus the fact that it is not at all targeted to specific problems, suggests that he is going beyond the authority that Congress has granted him.
The intensifying trade war with China is expected to affect the shipping and exchange of goods around the world, and of course here in California. At the Port of Long Beach, one of the busiest in the nation, they're expecting a 20% drop in shipping volume for the second half of this year.
So again, it's going to be interesting to see what the unintended consequences may be, which is loss of jobs. And of course, when you lose jobs, unemployment goes up, there's less consumer spending, and 2/3 of our GDP is based on consumer spending. So if you look at that formula, we have concerns about the future.
The governor's office says more than 60,000 small businesses in California rely on exports, and that the tariffs will also affect the cost and access to construction materials needed to rebuild after the Los Angeles wildfires. As you heard, the governor filing this lawsuit along with State Attorney General Rob Bonta announcing it earlier this morning, and the lawsuit was filed in U.S. District Court in Northern California. In Oakland, Ali Rasmus, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
Download Fox Local for more videos on demand.